Hello, so this is a video about why we have provided a battery grease. So this is actually a dielectric grease. It's a special grease that's designed to lubricate electrical connections, prevent corrosion, and also to improve a connection. Because these get used in the water, and typically salt water, it's incredibly important to use this product to make sure that your plugs are safe from galvanic corrosion. And if you don't use this, it will be at your detriment. It is provided in the kit. There is 2 tubes of it, and it is available as a spare part to continue to use. Please use it. We give it to you for safety of your hardware. Okay, so it has a few uses. The main and most important one is the protection of your battery plug. So I'll go through how we apply this in a minute. So there's the battery plug protection. There is the protection of the plug that's inside the unit, which I'll show in more detail. There is the protection of the removable motor plug that goes on the back of your unit, like so. And as we discussed in some other clips, the same battery grease is also used to sort of lubricate your front O-ring and the rear O-ring. But those are typically the main ones. The last one is you can use the blanking tool, which is designed to click into the back of your housing when you're not using the system, like so, prevents your O-ring from falling out, but it also allows dielectric grease to stay around those pins constantly to keep them safe from atmospheric water. Like if you live near a beach, the entire air is filled with salt water air. You know, look at a house near an ocean. All the balustradings are corroding, everything's covered in salt and mist. So this is designed to protect it. First one, batteries. So take the lid off, peel off the little silver sealing thingamy-bob. And then on the front of your battery, you've got the main connector. So you've got 2 big pins, which is where the main power comes out of the battery, and there's the 2 little tiny pins in the middle. They are where you charge and discharge the battery. And what you want to do is apply a decent amount of the dielectric grease to the connector. So you've finished putting dielectric grease on the battery plug. When do you do this? Every single time you want to use this in the salt water, you must apply dielectric grease because it will protect your battery and your system without fail every single time. If you're in fresh water, once you've started using the system numerous times, the plug and the unit's going to get a build-up of this grease in it, and you can do it sort of every second or third use. But if you're unsure, you can never use too much, put the dielectric grease on and it'll save you bacon. So once you've applied the grease on the plug, you use the battery to bring the grease into the unit, push it in, and that will now put dielectric grease on the main receiving plug inside the box. And you can do this over and over again, put a few layers on, squish it in and out, especially when it's new. But once it's been used a handful of times, both units are going to end up with a fair bit of grease on them. And as long as you keep topping up the battery side, you are inadvertently topping up the plug on the inside with grease as well. So that is for the battery. The next really important one is your motor plug. So there's a lot of power and a lot of current flowing through this plug. As long as you've done these 3 bolts up tightly and the motor plug is seated correctly on the unit, there should never be a leak. In fact, we've never had this ever leak in all of our testing since we designed it, so that's been very encouraging. Same thing with dielectric grease. You want to put a nice little layer across the 3 pins on the actual unit, and the same for your motor, a nice little layer across the pins of the motor plug. You don't really need to go crazy and ooze it all the way around the side. It will naturally get dielectric grease on the outside over time, but a good layer along the pins, because when you push it in there, it oozes out and it goes down the side anyway. Last one is the blanking plug, which you use to, when you're not using your system and you put the blanking plug in, you can do the same thing with this. A little bit of grease on that, put it back in your unit, done. Perfect. So that sums that up. 4-wheel drive battery grease. It's for your battery, it's for your housing, it's for your motor plug, and you can use it for other things like your O-rings. Please use it. It's a super crucial part of your system. It will keep you safe. It will keep your gear safe. Make sure you use it. Thanks for listening.